Initially, we considered living in public housing, but then we decided to move them to a location midway between my husband's workplace and mine. This was my suggestion so we could reach them quickly in case of any emergency. I received a lot of help from the Anderson family regarding my father. Please let me return the favor, I said. My father passed away before I got married. Just before he died, he had accumulated a lot of debt, putting our family finances in a very tight spot. We struggled, piling up more debt to pay off the existing ones. My husband and his family were the ones who saved us from this difficult situation. James and his parents paid off my father's debts on our behalf. If you're hesitating to marry because of the debt, wouldn't it be solved if we paid it off? My parents think the same way, said James. That's right. It's debt from a business failure, not from frivolous spending. There's every reason to help, added my mother-in-law. That's right. We should help each other out in tough times. There's nothing to be ashamed of, said my father-in-law. Thus, they supported most of the debt without saying anything. Both my father and I expressed our gratitude through tears, and I desperately took the bar exam. The total amount borrowed from my husband's family was about $50,000. I was confident that I could repay the debt once I succeeded as a lawyer. I didn't want to carry the debt as a perpetual burden. My ultimate goal was to pass the bar exam and become a lawyer. With a firm vow to repay the money I borrowed from my in-laws, I continued to work hard to become a lawyer. With that strong determination, I immersed myself in studies and, as a result of tremendous effort, finally passed the bar exam. My father and in-laws celebrated my success, and my heart was filled with immense joy. To start my career in the legal field, I quickly found a job and began working at a law firm. The director was very kind, and I learned a lot from experienced senior lawyers, gradually honing my skills. Over time, I acquired exclusive clients and now hold an important position in the office as a female lawyer earning over $100,000 a year. Thanks to my professional success, I was able to completely repay the debt to my father and in-laws. However, after my mother passed away, my father soon left this world too, and I was left alone. That's when James proposed to me. You're a strong woman who can stand on your own. But I want to be the man who supports you. I will always cherish you, so please consider marrying me. Convinced by his words, we decided to marry, expecting a happy life to begin. At that time, my father-in-law was unfortunately involved in an accident. Grateful for their past kindness, I offered to build a new barrier-free house for them, despite their objections. The gratitude I feel is more than words can express. Please do not hesitate. I want you all to live comfortably. It was a sincere wish. I conveyed my earnest feelings, not just flattery. My enthusiasm reached them, and with a wry smile, my in-laws accepted my offer. However, right after agreeing, they added a condition. Michelle, why don't you live with us too? We heard you and your husband are looking for a new house. That's right. If you don't mind, let's live together. Eventually, this house will belong to you. James has an older brother. He, 3 years older than me, got married and left home a few years ago. He started his own business and, due to his business, left everything at home to James, as I heard from my mother-in-law. My brother-in-law had an oral agreement that in exchange for taking care of the aging parents, James could freely use the parents' assets. Before leaving home, my brother-in-law had communicated this to James. Moving to the new house would shorten my commute, and we would start living together with James and his parents. Since we could support each other in times of need, there was no reason to refuse living together. However, I was worried that I might trouble my in-laws. Having occasionally caused them trouble even before marriage, I was anxious about whether living together was appropriate. Sensing my concerns, James gently placed his hand on my shoulder and reassured me. Don't worry, Michelle. I'm here to support you. Let's live together with confidence. Encouraged by James' words, I agreed to live with my in-laws. I was expecting to start a new life with the four of us and have enjoyable days. However, the peaceful life I had hoped for was not the reality. Michelle, where did you put my morning clothes? Michelle, the TV remote isn't responding. Can you do something about it? Michelle, can you help me? I want to sit on the sofa. It has already been 13 years since we started living in this house. In this house, every family member always comes to me for favors. They have no intention of managing things on their own. The family is completely dependent on me for everything, especially my father-in-law, who is disabled. He doesn't hesitate to touch me freely. I told you I had prepared and hung up the morning clothes. Mother, that's the air conditioner remote, not the TV remote. It's on the desk. Father, please ask James for physical support when he's around. Please don't rely on me. I can't support you properly. I found myself replying to them daily. Initially, I suppressed my dissatisfaction and did my best to meet the family's demands. It was unthinkable that while shouldering the mortgage, all household responsibilities were also left to me. I had thought about divorce several times. However, James always skillfully managed the situation, and my in-laws would apologize. I wasn't feeling tortured or harassed, so every time they apologized, my heart wavered and I ended up choosing not to divorce. Day-to-day life was filled with the in-laws' dependence and minor frustrations. But somewhere, I felt a bond as a family, which might have made me tolerate the situation. Still, the option of divorce always flickered in my mind. My mother-in-law finally started showing signs of mild dementia, or perhaps she was just becoming forgetful. It's not clear, but such questions from her increased. James, who had promised to help before marriage, proved to be utterly unreliable in this situation. Continuing my life with these uncertainties, I gradually adapted to the environment through experience. I began to handle everything before being told and started to express my opinions clearly to James and others. However, my father-in-law's excessive behavior was something I could not overlook. I expressed my dissatisfaction not only to James but also to my mother-in-law. I can't overlook father's behavior. Lately, he pretends to have dementia to touch me. Mother, please do something. My father-in-law has not yet been diagnosed with dementia. To be precise, he was examined, but he wasn't clearly diagnosed with dementia. The symptoms were mild, so it was a gray area whether it's dementia or not, the doctor said. Don't say that. It's part of the illness. It can't be helped. Certainly, such behavior could occur in dementia tendencies. But normally, this happens at a more severe stage of the symptoms.